Hello and welcome to AfriDominion. I'm Freeman Singirankabu, and thank you so much for tuning into our program today. And for those of you joining us live for the very first time, welcome. We are so thrilled that you can take some time out of your busy schedule to join the conversation. Here we are driven by truth, love, and trust, and these are the benchmarks by which we conduct our conversation. And we are going to be discussing in real time. And for those of you guys who are able to participate either live from social medias, welcome. If you're live from television, welcome. And if you're live from any one of these radio station, we also want to give you a huge welcome. We also want to ask you that if you need to get in touch with us, by all means, use our direct contact. It is best that you get in touch with us straight from our social media websites. Go through either our social media accounts or our personal website or the company website, which is www.afridominion.com www.afridominion.com. And our main email, for those of you guys who would like to send us an email or comments, it is info@afridominion.com. Info@afridominion.com. And with that in mind, guys, we are not going to take too much of your time today. We have some fresh information that we'd like to share with you guys, which is quite a shock to some of you. However, it's not a shock for those of you guys who are following from the back. And the conversation today that we want to talk about is who is going to be in charge of the new East Democratic Republic of the Congo. Now, I also want to speak. I want to put it out here right away at the very beginning, guys. The East Democratic Republic of the Congo is not a country as we speak right now. It's a speculation, a conversation right underneath of the hood. The same way Sudan was sliced into two pieces. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk that right now, a lot of interest parties are literally planning to split the Democratic Republic of the Congo into two parts, or more than two countries, if we may want to put it that way. Nothing is official. I want to put it out there at the very beginning of this conversation so that those of you guys who are going to participate in the conversation, you are now going to say that Freeman says that a new country has been created. A new country is going to be created. A new country is going to be created. This is I can put it just for politically incorrect, unconfirmed reports says that there is going to be a new Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. Now, my question becomes, who's behind that? Is it really going to be, as they say, the M23? Or there is actually an actual power behind all that is happening right now, especially the Congolese people, the Banyamulenge people. They are being utilized as the proxy for the interest greater than themselves. The entire world would like to have the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo as a piece of plantation they can use. Plantation. I don't mind some of the words that I'm using right now, but one thing that we know that in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, it's one of the wealthiest land on planet Earth. Not just the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, but the whole entire Democratic Republic of the Congo is one of the wealthiest nation on planet Earth. Especially for those of you guys who are not aware, in this era of new technology, just about all the usage that we have on the technology side, the material is coming from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. For those of you guys who are not aware of it, a whole lot of the things that the natural resources that we're looking for, especially, I'll give you quite an example. Cell phones, the cobalt, and a lot of these minerals are being extracted from the Congo. 70% of the world usage or the world needs of coltan is coming from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Most of you guys don't know. We're talking about right now things like electric vehicles. Those batteries, in order for you to be able to drive a lot of these electric vehicles, the raw material that are being utilized in those batteries Most of it is coming from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. For the past 30 something years, there's been a never ending war in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. Consequently, because the world cannot just, there's no way that the world is going to escape or leaving alone the Congolese people. Just as it started back in the late 90s, early 2000, until in 2003, if my memory corrects me, my memory serves me correct, Sudan used to be one country. Up to this day, the Sudanese people, they still regard the country as one, even though we know that there is now Sudan and South Sudan. Now, there are those dreamers who have been for the past 20 years, 20 plus years, looking to slice into the Democratic Republic of the Congo into new partitions. One of the quickest way to get through that is to literally cause wars to the degree that people are tired of these wars, and eventually we go through peace process, and before you know it, agreement arises where everybody wants to have a new country. But in whose interest is going to be if the Democratic Republic of the Congo is literally sliced into minimum of two countries as it is being spoken offline. Now, we are now going to immediately reveal our sources, but these conversations are there. The same way the conversation to slice into Sudan, into two countries were there before the war in Sudan started, the whole Darfur war. It led towards the partitioning of Sudanese land into two pieces. Now, currently, as you know, Rwanda is one of the main key stakeholders in these wars. It is said plenty of times, with many, many, many countless evidences, that Rwanda is one of the driving forces behind the war, behind these never-ending cycles of wars, under the pretext of the FDLR. However, we know that there is more to the story than this so-called genocider group, FDLR. Natural resources, guys. Natural resources. I want to give you a small list of some of the things that we are getting from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. According to the research that we have done, uh, since 2000, an estimated 1.2 million ton of cobalt has been extracted from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It cost minimum of $26,000 for 1 ton of cobalt. According to the sources, the numbers may vary. So we're talking about more than 30 something billion, more than $30 billion dollars. Actually, even more than $30 billion dollars of wealth being extracted just for cobalt alone. Copper, we have more than 12 million tons extracted. More than 12 million tons extracted from Lubumbashi. Gold, we have we have between 350,000 to 400,000 tons extracted in the past 20 years. Coltan, between 10 to 15,000 extracted. Tin, about 150,000 tons. The numbers go on and on and on and on. Guys, it is not by pure luck that we have never-ending wars in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. And now talks about creating a whole new country. As you guys are aware, recently the group called M23, all of a sudden it literally has captured the whole entire eastern side of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, from Goma all the way to Bukavu. Those are two major cities that they have captured. And now talks are there that a new country is being created. As you can imagine, the Congolese people are not just going to allow that to happen. But there are forces behind these wars, forces that have spent billions and billions and billions of dollars into the wars that continuously disrupt the Democratic Republic of the Congo. There will be so many pretexts, mostly or notably the Banyamulenge people. This very group of Banyamulenge are being attributed to a whole lot of things that are taking place in the Eastern Democratic of the Congo. My question becomes: are they going to benefit for all that is being extracted, for all that is being demanded, especially to the Democratic Republic of the Congo government? And now, just like the Random Patriotic Front from 1990 to 1994, they decided, hey, we just got to take over the whole entire country. There is a dream. If you have heard this group M23, not only they want the whole eastern side of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, but they want regime change. But if they cannot get the regime change, possibly they're looking to carve, to slice that little piece of Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo as a new Democratic Republic of the Congo, the East Democratic Republic of the Congo. Now, my question becomes, is the world going to just watch and let this happen? Whose interest is it that the Democratic Republic of the Congo is going to be sliced into more than two pieces of countries? Is it really going to be the Banyamulenge people? Is it really going to be all the people living on the east side of the Democratic Republic of the Congo? Is it going to be the Congolese as a people overall? Or is it going to be the actual other key stakeholders that you never even see in the pictures? There's millions and millions of tons of coltan. Is it being utilized by the Congolese or the rest of the world? Who are the major key players who are extracting natural resources out of the Democratic Republic of the Congo? Could they be the one who are actually supporting the slice of this little mini country that's been a dream since the 2000s? Can they finally have access to some free natural resources without even having to pay a single penny out of it? Remember, every war requires money. M23 doesn't have the budget to wage a war, but they're getting weapons not for free. Just like the RPF before it took over the whole entire country in Rwanda, they had to get weapons from somewhere on a loan, on credit. Currently, M23 is being financed on credit. Somebody's got to get paid at the end of the day. But it sure isn't going to be these people called the Banyamulenge or the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the people in the east side. So now, just so that I explicitly tell you guys, as I have repeated multiple times, talks of a new Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, unofficially. But we decided to just bring it up in the open because it's being spoken behind the scenes. We might as well talk about it. Is the United States going to be one of the beneficiaries? Is France going to be one of the beneficiaries? Is the United Kingdom going to be one of the beneficiaries? Could it be possible that the Chinese may be one of the beneficiaries? What about the Russians? What about the Australians? What about the Germans? You may say the G5 nations, the G10 nations. Bottom line, someone is already benefiting for the death of millions and millions and millions of the Congolese. And it sure isn't the Congolese themselves. Now, because we decided today that we are going to literally have an open floor for the conversation, I want to make sure that we immediately just get people to join the conversation, because right now it's imperative that not only if there is anything that has to be debunked gets to be debunked, but also in whose interest is it going to be? If really officially tomorrow you find out that the Democratic Republic of the Congo has already been sliced officially into two countries, the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the East Democratic Republic of the Congo, as one of the potential names, in whose interest is that going to be? Guys, Africans, we are being enslaved openly. I personally call this modern slavery. You don't see the United States being sliced into different parts. You have so many people who do not share the same views on many topics, many things that they do not share views. But you don't see them picking up arms and fighting one another. Only in Africa, you get to see where in countries like the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Central Africa, Mozambique, and a lot of these nations that are continuously into never-ending cycles of wars, if you have different views, you pick up arms. Where do you even get these arms? Just so that you know, guys, the Democratic Republic of the Congo does not have a weapon manufacturing capacity. They don't even have the manufacturer on the ground. Yet, you are quickly and easily able to purchase weapon than you can buy food. Who's bringing in these guns? These are some of the stories, these are some of the conversation that becomes taboo at the end of the day. But unless as Africans we sit down and be honest with ourselves, people are committing treason, open treason. Citizens of various nations are committing treason in the open. Foreign nations are coming into various African countries where they see weaknesses, and through there they get in and they seek out as much interest they can get from the weakest link. The Congolese people, not only can they live peacefully together, but they can also thrive peacefully, including the Banyamulenge, the so-called Banyamulenge, who are being actually utilized as the pretext of these wars taking place. But also, to be fair, there is at least more than 250 warring groups within the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Who are these groups? Who is supporting them financially, militarily? People fighting in the bushes, how do they have access to the latest technology in weaponry? Where are they getting the money? That's one of the conversation that is rarely discussed on publicly. We know that Rwanda has many soldiers in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. And so are other nations under the umbrella of the United Nations, under the umbrella of SADC and East African military. But beyond all of that, we also have private army that has set up shops since 30 plus years back. These private armies, they work for private corporations who are strictly going after natural resources. It's a huge business. It's been booming to the degree now they are dreams of literally slicing the Democratic Republic of the Congo into more than one country. Into more than one country. So far, it seems like East Democratic Republic of the Congo may soon become a nation. So, because we have a lot of people waiting today, I'm not going to talk too much about it. I want us to talk about it publicly and openly. And with that in mind, guys, let me go to our Zoom so that those of you guys who have already joined, we can talk about it. And one thing that I want to ask of you guys is that since we are on television right now, I prefer that those of you guys who want to say something, you actually say it with your faces visibly, because we are live on television, on radio station, but also on this social media. If you have something to say and you are afraid to be on the record, also let me know or text me. I do have James. James, can you hear me? Okay, I believe James is not listening. James, can you hear me? I see iPhone. iPhone, can you hear me? Okay, it seems like our we have people who have joined the conversation, yet they're not talking. Until somebody wants to talk, I want to make sure that that you guys let us know that you want to talk. Guys, there's so much happening right now in the Democratic Republic of the Congo that is almost unfair. You have millions of people who have already perished, killed. You have thousands of people who recently, within these just 3 months, have already lost their lives. Now the counts, I believe it is more than 10,000 people who have already died. And all of this is happening because of some natural resources. Guys, what is happening to our brothers and sisters, African brothers and sisters? Why is it so easy for an African life to just perish? And it becomes a news, it becomes a soap opera, and life continues the next day. Why is it okay that instead of forming unity, there still is a need to literally dissect, to slice more countries out of the continent? In whose interest is it that we continue to divide ourselves? Remember, divide and conquer. The United States, as one nation with multiple states there, with multiple states, it would never allow for its nations. Here in the United States, we call them state. They will never become anything like another country. They will never revolt to the degree that you can see more than one, more, you can see people leaving, forming a new country. You will never get to see that. But why is it that we continue to see that in Africa? I never understand that. I literally never understand that. And consequently, guys, it is us, the people. It is the people who are, at the end of the day, losing, who are literally losing the benefit of having that unity. I never understand why we continuously supporting all this. I would want to call them not only they are committing treason, but they're the one who are destroying Africa. Modern slavery. Guys, we cannot just see the new Democratic Republic of the Congo as a country when just yesterday we were talking about, or we were listening, people talking about, well, these people have been disenfranchised, we have killings, we have this and we have that. All along, somebody is already planning something else bigger behind the scenes. At what point are we going to be responsible for our own well-being as a people? At what time, guys, are we going to be responsible? It is sad that only in Africa you can talk, and you not only you can talk, but you can see how people are being abused, nations are being abused, people are dying like it's nobody's business. The rest of the countries overseas, they simply just let it, you listen to it in one day, the next day it's done, it's finished. When are we going to be responsible for our own lives as a people? When are we going to see who's the perpetrator, who's committing treason in the open? Regardless of who's supporting them, we want to be able to pinpoint and say, enough is enough with this. At the end of the day, these are our brothers and sisters who are dying mercilessly. All for what? For some natural resources that the world needs? We know these natural resources, in one way or the other, will have to be shared by the entire world. But it cannot be by force. You will never see the United States being cornered, being pushed to share its natural resources with any country without some sort of a formal agreement. You will never get to see that. You will never get to see France, China, Russia, Japan being cornered and put in a spot and forced to utilize its own power, its own natural resources. Why is it that Africa, up to this very moment, but still we are continuously see over and over and over and over again our own destruction? And the worst part about it, these so-called great nations, they're coming behind the scenes, extracting the natural resources, extracting. They usually call them for the interest of the United States, for the interest of United Kingdom, for the interest of French or France, or for the interest of Chinese or the Russian. ABCD is being done. What about the African interest as a collective? What about the Congolese people? What about their own interest? To remain united as one country, to live peacefully with one another, without these never-ending wars that are ravaging the country. If we claim to love the Congolese people collectively as the global village, why is it that we cannot help them to have peace? Why is it that we cannot help them to end these never-ending wars? Guys, we have the answer also. Somebody has to die. Guns have to be sold, preferably away from the origins of these guns. Africa is the new battleground for death. Every latest weapon is tested in Africa, and few other parts of the world where you have these small wars. But Africa is literally a laboratory for new weapons. Africans can die for what they care. Nobody really cares when an African dies in Africa. It's just the news. And I'm wondering, at what point did we become valueless to the degree it doesn't even make the news? It doesn't even raise any alarms that an African person is dying. The Democratic Republic of the Congo lost millions and millions and millions of people since 30 years back. Up to this very moment, they are still dying. But the world is just watching. The world is getting the coltan. The world is getting the cobalt. The world is getting the gold. They're getting the uranium. All the natural resources that can be extracted out of Congo is on schedule. It keeps on coming out, despite who's producing these natural resources or who's extracting it and sending it outside. It is literally a disservice to not just the Congolese people, but the African people collectively. It is literally a disservice. Our brothers and sisters are dying mercilessly, and all we can think about is how do we create a new nation, a new country, a new Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo? Who's going to have that piece of Goma? Who's going to have Bukavu? Who's going to have Katanga? Who's going to have Ituri? People are literally sitting down on table discussing who's going to take this little piece. Just like in the 1890s when Berlin Conference took place, Africa was being sliced. Like, guys sat down on the table. Me, I'll get this side of Africa, east side of Africa. I'll get the west side of Africa. I get the southern side of Africa. I get the northern part of Africa. Africa was sliced into multiple pieces, which we know today as countries. Never cared about the people, the culture, the livelihood of the people. It was just a plantation, a slave plantation. Now we have a new modern slave plantation, whereas the same forces still want to create new modern plantation under disguises of countries. Africans, we need to literally reduce these boundaries, get rid of the boundaries instead of actually adding more boundaries. We do not need more countries in Africa. We literally need to get rid of these boundaries. Just entertain the idea for a minute. What would happen if from east side of the Africa all the way to the west side of Africa, there was no single boundary? Would you be seeing these warring groups fighting? Would you be seeing people dying every single day? I will submit to you guys that it would not be the case. From south all the way to the north of Africa, if we are boundless, we are going to thrive. The reason why the rest of the world isn't helping Africans to reach one nation, the same way you have the United States, the same way you have the European Unions, is because if Africa becomes one nation, like there used to be many 100 years back, there were few empires, now one nation. There is going to be a strength. There is going to be power with the people. Various countries, various multilateral companies will not just come in as they please and go take over a piece of land here, a piece of land there. We can do it, guys, but we are going to have to get past this bickering. We will have to get past ethnicities. We will have to get past the rhetoric of extermination. We are already being exterminated as Africans. We don't want to add it to, to add the injury, the salt to the injury, doing it ourselves. We are being systematically exterminated as Black people through wars, through diseases, through various crafty ways that Africans are being get rid of, through prisons, through medicines. There's so much that is happening towards African people as a family, as one family, that is just crazy that we are also promoting our own death ourselves as African communities. So for our brothers and sisters in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, are you really going to allow your country to be sliced into two countries? That's just a question that I have for you all. In whose interest is going to be if your nation is sliced into more than one country? It certainly isn't going to be yours. It certainly isn't going to be the Banyamulenge. But the forces that most of you guys do not even think about are going to benefit. There's a new money that's going to come and publicly set up shop into the newly created nation. And most of you will become disenfranchised. There's something in the United States and a few other countries called gentrification. And that happens when all of a sudden economically it becomes more attractive to certain group to just take over one or another, a region or a city, and then chase out the people who used to be there and bring in others. And currently, as we speak, Africa is experiencing, I don't know whether you will call it gentrification on the continental level. Somebody tell me, could we use gentrification when it comes to a continent, or it's only utilized in only urban areas? I wonder if there is a name that we can use to see gentrified Africa. In other words, a new group of people will move in, chase you away from from your original places that you used to live in. We have cities here in the United States that have gotten gentrified. Washington, D.C., for example, has become a gentrified city. Gentrification has been going on for the past 20 years. African as a people, let us not allow ourselves to cave in to division. We don't need more countries. We need literally to chop off these boundaries. We need to become borderless, just like the United States. We need to sit down and squash our beef. Whatever issues we have, we can sit down and solve them as a people, not using guns. At the end of the day, we are the one who are dying. We are the one who are dying. There's millions and millions of people who have already died. Why would you not want that they could also enjoy the same privilege to life as you're enjoying right now? People who already perished today or yesterday, why is it okay that you enjoy life but they cannot enjoy life? I don't understand how selfish we can become as a people when when it's okay for one group of people or bunch of group of people, whether poor or not, to write them off and say it was after all wars, casualty of wars. Please, man, we don't see no casualty of wars in the United States. We don't see the casualty of wars in France. We do not see casualty of wars in the United Kingdom, in Germany, in China, in Russia. Oh, I stand corrected. In Ukraine, between the war of Russia and Ukraine, we do have the so-called casualty of wars to the degree they say about a millions of people who have already died. Why is it okay that people can easily perish and it's acceptable? We have to start writing our own narrative as Africans. We literally have to start writing our own narrative as Africans. Let us not giving in to slicing our nations into more multiple countries. Let us not give in, guys. The Democratic Republic of the Congo does not need to be sliced into many multiple countries. We know that it's being discussed right now with so many pretexts. I feel for these people called the Banyamulenge. Everything is being attributed to them. People becoming saviors of this group of people. All along, the behind the scene interest, they call it the agenda behind the scenes. They're not aware of it. Look what happened in South Sudan. Who's in charge of South Sudan today? Is it really the Sudanese people? I don't think so. Why, it's been now 20 years already. This is sad, guys. This is very, very, very sad. But again, as Africans, I will submit to you that these wars will not stop unless we stop them ourselves. These killings will not stop unless we stop them ourselves. The treasons that we continuously see in the open will not stop unless we put our foot down and say enough is enough. It is crazy to me that some of these things are happening in the open. And we actually are accepting them as is, as the new norm. There's nothing new norm about killing people openly. There's nothing new norm as seeing millions and millions of people perishing. There's nothing normal about that. And sadly, only in Africa. And then Ukraine right now. At least that's the closest nation, non-African nation, that's losing more than 1 million people in just a little bit of a short time period. But African has lost millions and millions and millions and millions of people. And the schedule to lose more millions and millions and millions of people, it's still in process right now. It's still going. It is not going to stop. So I want to play with you, brothers and sisters, regardless of whose beef, regardless of whose issues, regardless of what you agree or do not agree. Our disagreement can be literally discussed over a table. You do not need a gun to convince me that I need to see you eye to eye on our differences. You don't need to blow me up. You don't need to blow up 100, 1,000 people. You don't need to hold me hostage to convince me that, hey, we can coexist as one people. But those who actually want to take our inheritance as Africans are enjoying our division. They literally thrive when we have division, when we cannot actually pinpoint that this is where the issue is coming from. This is where the origin of all this saga is coming from. So, Congolese people, a huge warning for you guys. The new East Democratic Republic of the Congo as a nation, you should all refuse to allow it to come to fruition. Listen to what I'm saying, guys. The new East Democratic Republic of the Congo should never become a new nation sliced out of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. You guys, primarily Congolese people, you have a stake in not allowing that to happen. No matter what is happening, is not in your best interest that a new country or a few other country are sliced and created out of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And this is where I'm going to end it, because it is just crazy. It is crazy to me to see how we are entertaining the idea of slicing a country, a powerful nation like the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It's really crazy to me that the entertainment of such ideas have already floated. But at the same time, we know that since 2000s, there have been plans to slice the Democratic Republic of the Congo into other countries, to change literally the leadership in the whole Great Lakes region. We know for many years that there's been plans, whether you call it a conspiracy or whatnot. We see it happening. The regime changes. This is not by accident, guys. This is not by accident. But we have to start owning up the fact that we have a whole hand in what is happening today. We have a hand in what is happening. And so, for those of you guys who want to have a saying in this crazy story about the new Democratic Republic of the Congo, in my opinion, I would put a question out there to you: in whose interest would it be to see a new Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo as a nation created? In whose interest would that be? Would it be really the Congolese interest, or it will be the outside forces who already are in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, who are already extracting natural resources, who are already fomenting fights, fomenting wars between the brothers and sisters within the Democratic Republic of the Congo? Guys, we have to identify those who are committing treason in the open and pull them out there so that not only the world can see, but the rest of us, brothers and sisters, we can say enough is enough with that. So I am going to ask that those of you guys who have sent some questions, let's talk about it briefly, and then we move on. And I would ask that those of you guys who came in the chat, please. I have noticed that some of you guys came with bad intentions, but I would say, if you're coming with bad intentions, guys, we are literally going to not only remove you, but we won't be able to even allow you to come back in. Because at the end of the day, we want to have a fruitful conversation. We want to be not only helpful to one another, but we also want to solve our problems as Africans. Africa has been under siege. Africa has been under never-ending wars for many, many centuries. But it seems like now it's becoming harder and harder and harder. And that, to me, is the craziest thing. Do we not really care about the well-being of African as a people? Do we not care that you can live peacefully? I can live peacefully. We can live together as neighbors. I would submit to you that I believe that every single one of you guys care. And why is it that we're allowing outside forces to come in between us as a people? Give us their guns, give us the bombs, and we kill each other while they're just watching with popcorns, seeing us in action. It makes no sense to me, guys. It literally makes no sense to me that we literally have been allowing this to happen for many, 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 many years. And now we're talking about a new Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. Are you serious, guys? Come on. I want to remind you guys that a lot of people who are behind these initiatives, they could care less for you as Congolese people. They could care less for any of you Africans. All they after is enlarging their pockets. Bottom line. The more, the merrier in their pockets. Bottom line. So are you going to allow that to happen? That becomes my question to most of you guys who are following and listening. But let us not allow the DRC to be sliced into multiple countries. It just won't be right, and it will not be in the best interest of Africans. Um, so, guys, I see you guys have a lot of questions that you have asked. Somebody's asking here. They say that I would never believe that M23 will be behind the creation of the new Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. We know who's behind these initiatives. I don't believe that either, guys. I do not believe that either. That they will be, but that they will be the one doing it. But bottom line, not only there is an entertainment about, hey, potentially can we have the new East Democratic Republic of the Congo? Just the idea itself, it's floating around. You've already seen that the whole entire place, the whole entire region that has been that's under M23, they've started administration. In other words, they are already two government in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, unofficially. And then unofficially, there's a new country in the making, the East Democratic Republic of the Congo. This is only going to create never-ending wars, guys. The innocent lives, the innocent Congolese people are going to be the one dying in the end of it. Minding you guys, you know it is treason to attack your own nation, to attack your own country. Like what is happening right now with these 250 plus warring groups within the Democratic Republic of the Congo, it's literally treason by definition. On one side, people are saying that they actually they're protecting themselves, but on the other side is treason. Can you imagine if all of a sudden a group of 100 to 500 people, a group of 1,000 people took arms and took over Washington D.C., took over Maryland, took over Connecticut, took over Delaware? Can you just imagine what would the United States do if all of a sudden you took arms and you decide to take over even a slice of piece of land of the United States? You will not see the light of the day. But it's okay for countries like the DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, to be messed with for 30 plus years. After all, they're just Africans. Guys, this is straight out racism, man. This is evil. As a people, we can squash our beefs. It is my belief that what a heart wants, a heart finds its way to get it. If the Congolese people truly want to live together as one people, it's going to happen. If African people want to live together as one people, it is going to happen. But it will be also irresponsible to not think that we have bad apples whose interest isn't to see us being united as one people. We know since 2000s, with late 2000, you notice a lot of regime changes. A lot of elders were killed who had the ideas of forming one Africa. The good example that I remember in Libya. In Libya, they continuously advocated for one Africa, like a United States of Africa. The entire world was afraid of the day Africa would become one nation, because then all these wars will be over overnight. Imagine what's going to become the United States if they can no longer sell weapons in Africa. What's going to happen to China if they can no longer sell weapons in Africa? What is going to happen to Russia, to France, to Germany, to Australia if they can no longer sell weapons in Africa? All the G5 nations or the G10 nations, they will be out of business, guys. They will be out of business if Africa stops becoming laboratory, warfare laboratory, disease laboratory, medicine laboratory, etc. If we stand our grounds and we say, you know what, enough is enough. If we need medicine, we create our own medicine. If we need vaccination, we create our own vaccination. If we need defense, we create our own defense mechanism instead of buying arms outside. We will see changes there. And these are literally opportunities that we today have as Africans. Why can we not have our own industry? Why do you need to go buy guns outside if you can create them yourself? Why do we need to buy medicine when we can create ourselves medicine? Why do we need to buy vaccination when we can create our own vaccines? Why do we need to import food when we can farm our own food? More healthier than this genetically modified food that's being infested in Africa, that's being sent through Africa. Why would you exchange natural food to genetically modified food? Why would you exchange peace over and cave into wars? Why would you quarrel with your brother and your sister, with your neighbor, when you can all along sit down and squash the beef? These are the happenings in our lifetimes today, guys. And I want to submit to you that they become a time where we can no longer excuse that it was because of our grandparents, our founders of Africa. Whatever they were never able to do or whatever that they came short of, today it is our responsibility to do it for ourselves. I truly believe that we today as African can unite as one people. Congolese can unite as one people today. It's doable, it's feasible. Not only it's possible, it can happen. But there has to be a willingness. We all have to open our eyes and help them to do that instead of weakening them to become more weakest link. So, guys, I want to go right ahead and we end the conversation here in about 6 minutes from now. I will read a few more comments from you guys, and thank you guys for sending all these questions. And by the way, we had so many of you who really attempted to come in through Open Zoom to disrupt the conversation, but as you can see, it did not offer any fruits that you were willing for. I was looking earlier something interesting, guys. Did you know that according to the Congolese sources, there is more than 450 uh, ethnic groups within the Congo, and it's not a big deal. Did you know that in Rwanda you can't say you are Hutu, you are Tutsi, or you are Twa? You say we are Banyarwanda because of the so-called genocide that took place in the 90s. In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, they have more than 450 ethnicities within the nation. And unless it's amnesia, you do not hear, I don't hear other ethnicities fighting. We continuously we learn of the Banyamulenge. By the way, Banyamulenge, I do not believe that it's that it's an actually ethnic. I don't think, according to definition, is yet an ethnic group there. But I will stand corrected, guys. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that they are a race, an ethnic group. And that's what I'm thinking right now. Oh, so sorry, guys. I clicked on the wrong thing. So, with that in mind, guys, the so-called the new Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, as a nation, this is something being discussed, and I would say we don't need another country inside of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We do not need, for what we care, another country sliced out of any one of the African nations as an independent new state. We don't need that. If anything, we need to actually unify as one people. It's possible, we can do it. But we also have to work really, really hard to reach that unity, because we have most of our people amongst ourselves and outside forces that continuously push towards disunity amongst ourselves. Interest groups that do not have any interest whatsoever, if we become one people, they won't be able to come through. They won't be able to get the natural resources cheaper or cheaper than they're getting it right now. They won't be able to sell guns. They won't be able to sell GMOs. They won't be able to kill as many as they can kill and get away with it. So why are we giving them a reason to actually do just that? That's one of the things that I don't understand. So wrapping it up, guys. Thank you for each and every one of you guys who have sent in comments. There are a lot of comments that I haven't read, and some of them that I will just respond offline. But I want to tell our brothers and sisters in the Congo, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, guys, do not be tempted to slice the nation into two pieces. This conversation is already here. The new Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo as a new country. Let us not allow that to happen. It is not in the best interest of not only the Congolese people, but also African collectively. It is not in our best interest. The forces behind that, they want to have a free access to all the natural resources quietly, with themselves setting up shops to the new sliced country that they want to take off the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So I hope that the DRC government, you know very well what is happening. I hope that these new warring groups, you don't think that you are really that slick that you can be able to push through and force the Congolese people to split the country into half. By the way, we know that you have a lot of money that you owe. These warring groups like M23, they owe a lot of money. They have to pay back for the weapons that they're using. These are not free weapons, guys. They have to pay back. Somehow, somewhere, they have to figure out a way to find money. It will be a shame if part of the repayment of these guns and these weapons that you are utilizing, you are caving in for the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. I would hope that that's not the case. Otherwise, guys, I wanna end it here. Thank you for those of you guys who have submitted questions here. Those of you guys who are in the chat in the studio with me, I want to give you a huge thanks. But I also want to say, guys, there's so much that we need to say head to the no. Let us not divide one another. Divide and conquer. Remember that. Anybody who wishes that you divide yourself amongst a group of family members, they just want to make sure that you get isolated, I become isolated, and then we fight together after that. It is not in our best interest to continue to divide ourselves. So let us not allow the DRC to be sliced into more than one country. There are people who are ready to usher the new Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo flag right now. As you already see, a new government taking place. The next thing you are going to hear, a new flag in the land. That's only going to create never-ending wars. If the new East Democratic Republic of the Congo fights the Democratic Republic of the Congo, can you imagine how many more years they are going to fight? How many lives are going to be lost? We're already losing wars right now. We're already losing lives right now. Why would we want to pursue? Why would we want to promote a new nation being sliced, being created? I don't understand those of you who have already put your money there so that the country can be sliced into at least another one country. But we already know that for the interest of natural resources, that's why you want it. You want to get rich quick. You want to be there yourselves instead of having to ask permission to Kinshasa. Guys, this is wrong, straight out wrong. So we all should say enough is enough with that. So with that in mind, guys, I want to end it here. There's so much that we have to do. If you have any question, let me see first if there isn't any question before I go. But I want to play with you guys. This isn't funny. This is in the making. When Sudan was sliced into two nations, it was talked about for months. It was talked about weeks before it happened. And people were like, nah, the worst thing that's going to happen, they will just make deals to extract some oil. Now we have South Sudan officially on the map of Africa. We do not want to see Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo as a new nation sliced out of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I do not believe that that's going to be in the best interest of the Congolese, nor is it going to be in the best interest of Africans at large. So I'll let it. I'll end it there, guys. If you have any comments, please be sure to email me or email us. I should put it that way. Our direct email is info@afridominion.com. Our main website is www.afridominion.com. Also, by all means, guys, such like today, we had our studio Zoom open. Welcome to Zoom, guys. Come in and chime in if you have something to say. And do remember that we do value your opinion, guys. We value your opinion. Come and speak boldly. Come and speak with no apologies. Because at the end of the day, it is for the benefit of our brothers and sisters in Africa, but also the entire world for what matters. So let's work for the betterment of our own people, guys. Nobody else is gonna be doing it for us. So with that in mind, guys, have a beautiful weekend. Have a super fantastic day. I'm Freeman Singh Kabo here at AfriDominion. Until I see you guys next week. So long for now.